A true account from the fragments of Father Giraud, 1721. The records begin in 1721, when Father Jean Giraud, a Dominican exorcist, was summoned to a decaying manor on the outskirts of Lyon. The house had belonged to the Marcellin family, minor nobility, known for their strange fortune. They claimed to trace their bloodline to a 13th century scholar of Salamanca, rumored to have trafficked with a spirit called Asmodeus. When Giraud arrived, he found the eldest daughter, Élodie, confined to her room. Witnesses claimed she spoke in 3 voices, one her own, one guttural and masculine, and another soft, whispering in tongues unknown. Each night the manor smelled faintly of cypress smoke and sulfur, even with no fire lit. Élodie's first words to the priest were recorded verbatim in Giraud's journals, preserved in the archives of the Lyon Archdiocese. "He told me he loved me before I was born," she said. "He was with my mother the night she conceived me. His name begins with her, but he forbids me to speak it whole." When Giraud pressed her for more, her body seized violently. She screamed in Aramaic, a language she could not have known, shouting, "Barashmode Melka Dirschen," by Asmodeus. King of the Wrathful, the priest recognized the invocation from fragments of Testament of Solomon, in which the demon Asmodeus boasts of ruling over vengeance and desire, destroying the bonds of marriage and sanctity. Searching the house, Giraud found a box hidden behind a false wall. Inside were 3 iron rings, each engraved with a triangle of Hebrew letters, Aleph Shin Mem, the root of Asmodeus. The rings bore scorch marks, as if they had been held in fire. Beside them was a diary written by Élodie's father, Count Marcellin. In it, he described his experiments with the 6th and 7th books of Moses, claiming to have succeeded in summoning the infernal architect of lust who appeared in the form of smoke and laughter. The Count wrote, "He does not appear in flame, but in breath, wall upon the neck. He teaches how to bind hearts through sin and deceit. He asks only that one ring remain unbroken. That ring, the 3rd, was missing. The rites began at midnight, on the feast of Saint Dismas. Élodie was bound by her wrists with linen soaked in holy oil. She laughed when Giraud began the ritual Romanum, marking his Latin with her own, Dominus vobiscum, Pater Carnis, the Lord is with you. Fleshly Father. Then her body went rigid, and her voice deepened until it cracked like splitting stone. I am Asmodeus, the destroyer of the wedding bed. I walked with Solomon, and I whispered to his wives. She bears my mark in her blood. You cannot cast me from what is mine. Witnesses recorded the temperature dropped sharply. The glass of holy water froze at the rim. When Giraud pressed a crucifix to her chest, a black vapor rose from her mouth and the walls bloomed with soot-dark handprints. 3 days later, Élodie died in sleep, or appeared to. Her body was buried in the family crypt. But 2 weeks after the interment, a sexton found the iron ring, the missing 3rd, lying atop her grave, still warm. The stone above it had cracked from within. Giraud's last journal entry reads, "He is not banished. He does not flee to hell, for he walks already among us. He is in every oath broken, every kiss born of deceit. I have heard him behind the confessional veil, breathing. The church sealed the records, marking them superstition. Yet the rings were never accounted for. One is rumored to rest in the Vatican archives. Another surfaced in an occult sale in 1923. The 3rd was last seen in Lyon, found embedded in the plaster of a burned-down home."
Thank you for listening. Join our always growing legion. Discover Satan World.